and I pulled my back. I'm not even sorry to say if you were born in that town, I'm sorry. Sourcebooks sent me a gift box. I'm going to ink Hypnotize. But at the point where I'm at right now, it is actually starting to hurt me a little bit. Welcome to March, welcome to spring, welcome to saying goodbye to the really cold, dreary, dark days of winter. I am hyped. I feel like I have a new lease of life right now, which is great. I'm sure it'll only last a couple of days and I'll be back to my usual miserable self. But right now I'm feeling pretty good, which is good. It's real good actually, because I realized shortly before I filmed my March TBR just truly how much I have to read in this month, given that I am going to China at the beginning of April. I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, so I'm still going to read at least one book, I would say, probably 1 to 2, but I'm not going to read like 3 or 4 like I normally would in a 2-week period if I was at home, or even more depending on where I'm at. So we need to knuckle down, which means that it's great that I'm feeling extra motivated. But my first port of call, my first obligation for March is of course to continue on with The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne, ready for the live show, which will have passed by the time you see this vlog, but it is going to be on the 9th of March. So I have 9 days to read this one, and I actually just looked how long it was so I could work out how many pages per day that was, and then I picked up my phone to do just that, and as usual I promptly forgot what I was on my phone for and ended up on Discord. So it is 648 pages. That's actually going to be quite a lot. It's going to be like 670 pages a day, which isn't great because like last time when I read Malice, I am also going to be filming Shelve It or Scrap It alongside this one, and I'm actually currently filming a different vlog alongside this right now, but from Monday I'll have finished that vlog hopefully, and we'll then be filming Shelve It or Scrap It, so it's not just this book that I have to read. 72 pages per day. So it's not like 72 pages a day isn't difficult for me, but it is obviously on top of other things. So we'll see how this goes, because this is currently, it's the slowest book that I'm going to be reading. I am very excited to dive back into this one though. I don't really know how to explain it to you at this point because it's very like Game of Thrones in a lot of ways, but the way that I'm talking about right now is that the series only actually, I feel, really starts at book 2. In book 1, we are establishing all of the characters. Not even all of the characters, actually, because I know we have new character point of views coming in continuously throughout this series. But we establish a handful of characters, and we are following them predominantly in peacetime. This is a high epic fantasy. It's set in a world where there was a war between giants and humans, but everyone's been at peace for a long time, and we're getting to know the characters pretty much in their day-to-day life as things are starting to crop up a little bit that end up turning into events that create the catalyst for the rest of the series. So in book 1, you're just really getting to know everyone, getting to know the world a little bit, getting introduced to kind of what's going to be going on here. But I feel like book 2 is where the actual plot is going to start, because it was only at the end of book 1 that we started to really destabilize the equilibrium of this world. I'm excited to get back into this because from the live show, like I felt like I had this figured out. It felt pretty clear cut. It was good, but I didn't feel like it was going to have a ton of plot twists. But then from what everyone's saying, John Gwynne does have a lot of plot twists, I think. Like, he has a lot of layers to his stories. There's a lot of complexity. I definitely got that from it. But I didn't feel like it was going to be a super twisty ride. And honestly, like, I've never read anything from John Gwynne before, so I don't know for sure that it is going to be a super twisty ride. But just the impression that I was getting from people's reactions in the live show lead me to believe that it is. I can say for sure that it is a very complex series, very complex world, and there was a lot of plot being laid down, like a lot of little hints to be picked up at a later date. We have prophecies going on here that are maybe going to unfold in ways that I didn't necessarily expect going into this, and I'm just excited to see it play out. I'm excited to see where Corbin goes next, and some of the other characters that I've just flipped through and seen some of the perspectives, and we definitely have some of the characters from book 1 that I wasn't super excited to see again. But for book 1, I actually, in a notebook, I wrote down each character that had a perspective and some main plots of like what they were doing. So I think I'm going to go through that and just recap myself on my notes so that I have a better idea of kind of where we left each individual person at the end of book one. And there's also at the beginning of this, there is a character list, which I think is going to be very helpful to refer back to. The first book in the series was on KU, so I read it on my Kindle, but I think I'm going to be reading this one physically because it was one of the ones where, you know, like sometimes they put the first book in a fantasy series or like a popular first book in a series onto KU, but then you have to pay for the rest if you want to continue. It was that kind of vibe, and honestly I just obviously read it for ease on my Kindle because I do own all of the physicals. So I'm going to be diving into the paperback of this one, and hopefully I'll manage to stay on track for the live show. I mean, I have to. I can't not turn up. It's my book club. And then I also wanted to show you guys a little parcel that I have just received from the sponsor of today's video, which is Ana Luisa. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this one. If you are new to Ana Luisa, they are a climate neutral jewelry brand. They specialize in precious metal jewelry manufactured in a way that does not harm the planet or the environment, which is obviously great to hear. They also have ethical practices through like the entirety of their manufacturing and supply chain, all the way down to the consumer, which is great. I love that at this time where looking after the climate is incredibly important, looking after the environment and being climate conscious is something I believe we all should be aware of and working towards. And I love that you can still have a little bit of luxury. You can still treat yourself to incredibly beautiful luxurious pieces without having to damage the environment for the privilege of being able to do that. So I wear a lot of Ana Luisa jewelry all of the time. You will see throughout the course of this vlog, I mix and match my pieces a lot. And something that I love about Ana Luisa is that their pieces work really well together. They have things that are a little bit more elaborate and things that are a little bit more simple so that you can mix and match between them to create a look that really works. And you can also wear Ana Luisa for any occasion. You can add a little bit more sparkle to a glam outfit if you're on your way out for dinner or for drinks with your friends, or you can wear them with something a little bit more casual just to dress up your look a little bit and add something that catches the eye. Honestly, one of my favorite ways to wear Ana Luisa is with my gym sets. I don't know why, but I just feel like when I've had makeup on in the day and I put my gym wear on and I've got my jewelry on, like I just feel like it looks so good. So I have two new pieces from Ana Luisa to show you guys today. I love their packaging at the minute as well. Like it's so funky and modern, but also once again great for the environment because it's cardboard, so it's recyclable. The first ones are these Jane heart earrings. I love a heart-shaped earring. I have 3 different pairs of heart-shaped hoops, I think. This one is the juniper necklace. Once again, I love how simple it is, but it just has a little something that makes it different from a plain gold chain to add just something that draws your eye to it. All of these are gold plated, and if you look after your gold plated jewelry, it will last you a very, very long time. But if you guys would like to check out Ana Luisa, I would recommend that you go ahead and click the link at the top of my description box and get yourself something new and sparkly. They're very affordable. Prices start from $39 and they have free shipping available in a lot of places, as well as very affordable shipping for international orders. And once again, a big thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. So now that I've sorted out my reading for this weekend and for the next 9 days, I'm gonna go ahead and get on with my weekend. If you did not know, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've done like a regular lifestyle vlog, I recently bought a pair of roller boots. I've been going to roller disco. I used to go in like, I think 2017 was the last time I went, and then we stopped going and we started back again in the last month. So it kind of travels around various venues in the area, and we've gone to I think 3 over the last 4 weeks. There's currently none until the end of March. So I bought some roller boots because I've always loved roller skating, but obviously as an adult it's not something that I've really done because like I don't know where to go and skate. And in terms of roller disco, like roller rinks aren't really a thing anymore, and from what I've heard from like my hairdresser and stuff who's always lived in this area, it's never really been a thing. Like there's never really been a local roller rink, I think. So I didn't want roller boots when I used to skate because I didn't think I'd have a use for them, and why are you so close to me, Hamilton? I guess I just felt like it wasn't something that I could ever really actually do, but this time I've invested in roller boots, mainly so that I have my own for roller disco, because I find it really annoying when you have to, obviously you're wearing different boots every time, so like you have to adjust to them, spend the first 10 minutes adjusting to that specific set of boots. But But I realised, because I've been thinking of places where I can skate outside, and we actually went to the seafront last night after roller disco to try it out. But I realised my garden is concrete. So I'm going to try and clean it up. This is like the beginning part. Obviously it's got a lot of cracks in it, but I don't know if the surface itself is suitable without all these cracks, because then if you go up here, there's a big crack here. But then all of this is concrete, so we need to get rid of this anyway. We don't use our garden because, I don't know, we don't like gardening. But it does need doing, so if I remove this, all of this space is concrete, but we don't have a power washer, and I want to clean it because I don't want all of this mossy gum in my boots. And then if this is suitable, which there are quite a few cracks, so I don't know if it is going to be, then we can also lift up all of these flags, which we also don't care about, and then there will be this much concrete. So wish me luck, or wish us luck, should I say, because we're not garden people to start off with. I hate gardening, I hate cleaning outside, I hate everything about outside. I also should move away from the back door. The real reason I don't use my garden is because I fucking hate my neighbours, because they're really, really loud. And all summer they just throw parties and play music really loudly every single day, which is why our garden is actually like it is, because I don't want to spend time and money investing into a space that I cannot stand to be in. But I'm just going to suck it up, especially because they work at least some weekdays, and I can take an hour out of my weekdays to skate in the back if it is suitable. And I just really want to roller skate, and I just don't want to go to a car park. Whoa. Hi. I don't want to go to a car park where people are going to look at me and be like, what are you doing? And I just don't want to be perceived. So we'll see if this works. I'm not overly hopeful, but I do have my fingers crossed. All right, bunny, come on. Oh my God, them fat wiggly worms. Good size of them worms. Wow. Good job that was ice and not glass. I don't know if I was stood in the way of the camera.
Why does it sound like glass though?
It's definitely ice, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You just stare in the face.
Sorry, Mum. Bit cracked under here. I don't think that they're that bad.
Yeah.
Like that isn't...
It's not gonna knock you over.
I do come up this way.
Yeah.
I think I can come down this way. This strip here, pretty smooth. I did not start Valor yesterday, which wasn't great, so I'm going to be making up for it today. I have now started. I'm only 12 pages? Yeah, 12 pages in. I read a couple of chapters this morning before I did a little bit of yoga and washed my hair. I did start clearing the back garden yesterday. It's definitely more cracked than I thought it was going to be. So we still have a lot to do, but we have been looking up portable interlocking flooring that I could maybe lay over the top to smooth it out. It is on a little bit of an incline, but just slightly. So I feel like I can maybe work with that, but I am going to actually just test the surface because we cleaned the strip outside the back door yesterday so that I could test the surface and see whether it's okay in spite of the cracks, whether the actual surface is smooth enough for me to skate on to begin with. But then when we were clearing the big area, so we rolled up the astroturf and I was moving the bins further into the garden and the garden chairs that were dotting about that we need to get rid of anyway, and I pulled my back. So that put an end to that. It's not too bad, it's a very small pull. It's in the lumbar bit, right at the bottom of my spine, basically because I have on Wednesday I did weight training, on Thursday I went for a run, on Friday I did roller skating, which obviously is a lot of core and balance, and then I tried to clear the garden on Saturday. So just a little bit too much lower back work, which is ironic as well because I'm doing all of these things partially to strengthen my back and my posture and my core. But I am not really couch bound. I've been hobbling around a bit, but I also am resting because I am planning on going roller skating later this week, and if I can't go I'm going to be really sad. I have to go to Manchester to pick up my visa for China, and we're going to Archie's Atomic, which is a roller rink at the Trafford Centre, after I've collected it, with our friends, and I'm going to be really sad if I can't go. So I have done a little bit. I did just a little bit of yoga to try and stretch it out a little bit. It's annoying because more than anything it just feels stiff. Like it feels like if I could get into a good back bend it'd just like pop out. It's not, that's not the solution, but that's like the kind of discomfort that I'm feeling. So I've just got my notebook out so that I can start making notes on this, and I think because I should be hitting around the page 140 mark today, I'm going to try for about 30%, which I think is about 190, because if I can do 30% in 2 days, then I can just do 10% for every day up to the live show. I am struggling a little bit getting back into it just because I really took my time like learning the intricacies of like who all of the kings were and who was related to who, because I knew that this was going to be a series with a lot of characters going into it, so I took care to keep track of them all. But now I've started book 2 and it's like this person is trapped in this place with this person and their king is this person, and I'm like, I don't remember who any of these people are. There is the character guide at the beginning, but I'm also just flicking through my notes because I sat down this morning and my notepad was over there, so I was like, okay, I'll just start without until Curtis comes down and I can get him to get my notepad, but then he never did. So yeah, I read a couple of chapters without, but at least one of them, one of the perspectives that we followed is one that I'm already very familiar with, so that one wasn't an issue. It's more the people who are all in like different war bands and stuff and who grouped together and made alliances. I can't remember like who belongs to which party and which part of the alliance, but I mean, I'll get there. So yeah, the aim is to be 10% is about 65 pages, right? Yeah, so 195, that's quite a lot. I don't think I'm gonna do it, especially because I technically should be reading another book as well, the book that I spent yesterday reading half of instead of dipping into this, but actually page 194 is right at the end of a chapter, so I'm aiming to read that much. It's a lot. I honestly don't think I can do it, but I have to take it easy. It's so frustrating as well because I feel energized, like I want to do stuff. I want to spring clean my house. I want to smash up my kitchen floor tiles and relay them. I want to, what else do I want to do? Oh, the garden, obviously, and I'm injured. And I can't. So I've been like bobbing about doing just like little bits and then resting. So here we are. At least in theory, I should get a lot of reading done now. This is my hand. I'm going to ink Hypnotize. Nice. And oh, Flynn's dry. And I will use both of those, which aren't in frame. And I will, I guess, sing this song. Yeah?
Yeah.
Draw 2. And keep one and discard one, right? Wait, then choose and discard a card. So can I discard from my hand then?
Yeah, anything.
You have not shuffled this well at all because I have pulled 3 of these. And I've inked one already. Discard a card. I'll discard one jump ahead. Because I should have mulliganed more actually, because does this get discarded?
Much used.
Everything's like an item or a song and I don't have many characters. So with my boy Flynn Rider, what does that do?
I can ready it and 3 ink to ready a chosen character, but they can't quest for the rest of the turn.
So I will quest with him.
Boom.
Boom.
My turn?
Yeah. Good job you haven't got life points because I would be draining
You
you.
would be attacking me for 1. Yeah.
And you'd only have 7,999 left.
I'm gonna ink this very beautiful shiny Go the Distance. 2 for Lady Tremaine. When you play this character, each opponent with more law than you loses 1 law.
Good morning. Why are my windscreen wipers on? I am about to drive into the next town over to pick Curtis up because he's gone to sell his car, which is a sad day. He's had that car for a long time. I think he bought it a couple of months after I bought the one that I sold last year, but it failed its MOT, and honestly, like, we keep our cars in pretty good nick because my dad repairs them, especially mine. Curtis's is a hybrid, so he has some work done at the garage, but my cars, my dad repairs them, so obviously, like, I don't hang about on repairs because I only have to pay for the parts. And I have not seen a list of fails so long on an MOT as I did with Curtis's. So it's like just at the point where the repairs are more than the car is worth. Like literally the amount for the repairs that he was quoted is the same amount that he's going to get for the car in trade-in. So I'm going to go pick him up because he doesn't have a car at the minute. He hasn't found one that he likes. He's just selling this one because today is the day that the MOT runs out. So I'm going to go and pick him up after he's done that. and then I'm going to take him for brunch to make him feel better, because he's like a little bit sad about it. He also gets attached to objects and stuff like me, and we have had that car a very long time, and it is the dominant one that we were using, because it's like it's the same age as mine was, but it's a better model. Like when it was new, it was a much more expensive car than mine would have been. So I'm looking forward to brunch. I think I'm going to get French toast. We're trying a new cafe because the town that we're going to, it's not a good one. I'm not even sorry to say if you were born in that town. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's where you're from. But yeah, it's a seaside town. If you know where I live, you probably know which one I'm referring to. But my back is a little bit better today. Walking around is not fun. I can't walk for very long without it starting to hurt, but I'm getting like a bit more flexibility in it. I'm good enough to drive, and hopefully I'll get good parking along the seafront to go and get brunch. I did read 150 pages of Valor yesterday, so not the 190 that I expected to. We knew that wasn't going to happen, but I am also really enjoying that. I'm hoping that I can cycle back around to it, because I have my Kindle with me, with the book that I need to finish for the other vlog that I'm working on, that I'm hoping to read a little bit while I'm waiting for Curtis's like car trading appointment. And where is my phone? Oh, there it is. I was like, I need that. And then I'm hoping to cycle back around by the end of the day and read another like 60-ish pages of Valor, because I think I need to be at like page 216 today, and I'm on 151. Oh, I can show you my phone smashed properly now, because I need to take my case off to put it on my hands-free. It doesn't affect how my phone actually works, but it makes me sad to look at it. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Curtis has already left, but obviously I don't need to be there at the same time as him. But I just thought I'd fill you in on how my last 24 hours has been.
I know that I'll be fine, but I can't tell. Think about the time when I made it to your first show. Took hours to get there under the weather, but I would do it all again. How do I go from here?
That's just my baby doll.
It's not making any sense at all. 'Cause
You're reading.
in a moment it was over. All these years for a second of closure. Oh, still I kiss you next October.
Good afternoon. I am getting some work done today. I say that as though I haven't been working all week, but I just feel like I haven't really achieved anything, because I don't think I've edited any videos at all this week. And I have currently on my memory card, or before I edited the video, my February wrap up, which is currently exporting, I had 3 sit down videos on there, 2 of which I filmed this week. Something I'm really enjoying actually is the fact that it's daylight a little bit longer, so instead of having to film before midday, I can put my makeup on in the morning, and if I have time or if I get around to it in the afternoon, I can just film a video. And because of that, I've ended up filming 2 videos this week that I would have normally had to like plan ahead to film. So I'm making advantage of the daylight that's trickling into the afternoon. But I also have, as well as the 3 sit down videos, I've got 1 entire vlog which I finished yesterday, half of this vlog, the start of Shelve It or Scrap It, and I've done no editing. I'm actually at the point I just had to check. I've got 11 minutes left on my memory card. It's full, so I need to start getting stuff off there, but I have been reading, not as much as I would like to, but I have been reading, and I am a big chunk of the way through Valor now. I'm on page 284, and my plan after this update is to read just a little bit more while this video exports, and then I think I'm gonna go get a workout and shower, because I really need to wash my hair because I'm going to Manchester tomorrow. Realistically, because I haven't really been working out because of my back, it could last a little bit longer, but because I'm going out tomorrow, I don't want to wake up in the morning and have horrible like limp greasy hair. So I'm gonna get that out of the way so that I can proof and schedule this video tomorrow and maybe make a start on editing my unboxing. But in terms of my book, I am having a good time. The last 100 pages have been a little bit of a drag because this is is a quite war-heavy series. I mean, the main conflict that we're following in here is a god war. So it is literally people who are uniting between this avatar of good or bad. So I think it's the Black Star or the something sun. Oh my god, what's the other one called? The Prophecy is actually in the front of this one, which is great. The Black Sun or the Bright Star, and they're obviously coming to blows. Now, one of the really interesting things about this book, though, is that we are following a lot of characters, but a lot of them believe that a certain person is the Bright Star, and then we have other people who believe that somebody else is the Bright Star that actually may be the Black Sun. And the interesting thing about it is that nobody thinks that they are the Black Sun, but we as a reader can have, we don't know for sure, we don't know who is who even at this point, but we can kind of make our minds up based on the actions of them and the actions of the people around them. And then of course you also have the giants of the world, which I remember when I was reading Malice, I said at this point, like, it's set up as though the giants are the enemy. This series was described to me before as like a world in where there had been a war between giants and men. So I didn't know if the giants were the adversaries for sure, or whether that was up in the air. At this point, I do think it's up in the air. We do get some giant perspectives in here, which is really interesting. Ironically, they are what I would consider to be bad giants, so it's still not clear cut what role the giants play in this, but they are very much tied to the origins of the world and the magic of the world. And I do personally believe at this point that they are like humans, and that some of them are affiliated with the bad god Azeroth, and some of them are affiliated with the creator, which is Elron. As you can see, I'm still pretty new to this series, but the reason why the last 100 pages or so has been a little bit of a struggle for me is because it has been very, very battle focused. We're following a ton of characters, but at the minute they're all kind of split almost into 3 parties. There's a couple of outliers, but there are 3 big conflicts happening in this book simultaneously, and we're following like 2 or 3 perspectives from each one. So typically when you read a fantasy story like this, like, things tend to build up to like a big climax where everyone is involved, or if things are a little bit more spread out across the map like this series is with such a wide cast of characters, you will have points where some characters are battling but other characters are just like, I don't know, walking through the forest, and some other characters like learning some magic. And then once the ones that are fighting kind of calm down, one of the other groups will reach a point of action or reach a conflict. So you get like more of an even balance between the high action moments and the low action moments and the slow character development and forward in the plot and conflict. Whereas in this one, at the minute, everyone is tangled up in a different conflict. And so as somebody who doesn't love battle scenes in general, they are my least favorite part of fantasy novels. There's only a couple of authors that I can think of that have done action well in like a couple of series where I haven't minded it, but generally it's not something that I particularly enjoy. I do think that John Gwynne's battle scenes are all right though. Like, I don't hate them. I know that he comes from a historical background. He was a professor. I don't know what his subject was, whether his subject was history, but I know that he is very, very interested in history, and himself and his sons participate in like reenactments. So I'm pretty sure that his battle scenes and stuff are spot on and have like a ton of historical detail that influences this world, because it is a world that is heavily rooted in like British history and the history of like Europe and the British Isles and the folklore and the mythology of the world. So in terms of reading them, like, they're not the worst that I've read. I'm not so disinterested in them that I'm having a terrible time. It's just not my favorite element of any story. So the fact that it's like jump in from, we'll have like a series of 5 or 6 short chapters from characters in one conflict, and then it'll skip to 5 or 6 short chapters of characters in a different conflict. And I think we're at a point now where things are kind of like wind down, and we're going to have a little bit of a lull in between the next conflicts that crop up. But I know that some of the characters are heading towards danger, so I don't think it's going to be chill for very long. And I just think it's interesting that John Gwynne, instead of like spacing it out to kind of even out the pacing a little bit and add a little bit more variety throughout the book, decided to kind of have everything come to a head at once. I guess it does keep you hooked a little bit, because instead of like reading a chapter and putting it down, which I don't often do, I try to read at least a few chapters at once, but instead of being able to put the book down, like I have to read the whole group of chapters until we come to a lull in the action where I'm okay to like step step away from it because we're moving to a new scene. So I do like that because it's keeping me compelled for like chunks of the novel, but it's not been my favorite part of the series so far. The book overall though, I'm still having a good time with. I'm really enjoying it. It's the best thing that I've read in a while because I've been reading some stuff that I haven't been enjoying. I still need to start my Shelf It or Scrap It book though. Ideally I should have started that on Monday. I'm behind on where I should have been yesterday for this. I think where am I? I'm 4 pages away from where I should have been yesterday, and I have all of today's section to read, and then hopefully I'll start the Shelf It or Scrap It book because I need to do that. But I also have sprints with my patrons tonight, which is why I kind of want to get my hair washing out of the way now. And I also at some point today need to take my car to the garage to fill it up with petrol and check my tires before I drive to Manchester tomorrow because Curtis has still not found a car, which is fine because I was going to drive anyway, but I don't have choice now because I'm the only one with a car. But I do like to do that later in the day when it's quiet, just because I mean it's easier. Why choose to go to the petrol station when there's 50 other people there when I could choose to go later when there's nobody there. My back is feeling a little bit better though, so that is good. I can go roller skating tomorrow. I've had my skates on in the kitchen today, and I went for a walk today for the first time with no pain. Yesterday I managed to walk, but it was tender. Today I walked with no pain. So I'm out of the woods, which is good because the workout I'm going to do, I'm so bored of low impact cycling. So I finally get to do just like a normal spin workout. I was testing it out, and all of the stuff like associated with spin, like standing up and jogging on the spot while stood on a bike and sitting down and stuff, all wasn't aggravating my back at all. I couldn't feel it. But just because I really want to go roller skating tomorrow, I was doing absolutely nothing to jeopardize my back and like set me back at all. But I'm pretty confident now that I'll just do 30 minutes probably, because like I said, I don't want to even risk it until I've been roller skating tomorrow. But yeah, I've been bored of low impact because I've been doing low impact every day, so I'm excited to do something a little bit different. But I'm also not at a point where I can run yet, which is annoying because the weather's nice and I really want to. And I'm also not at a point where I can weightlift, like not even attempting that right now.
How will I know what fun feels like without you in my life? Without you in my life. And I thought that I was fine, but I can't help. Wonder what it's like to be the one who gets.
I am very tired after yesterday. I was planning on keeping it chill, keeping it cozy today because I have so much reading to do, and I also have so much editing to do. But I have just put on a touch of makeup so that I could film a reel because Sourcebooks sent me a gift box with like 6 of their most hyped releases in. If you guys are interested as well, would recommend following me on Instagram. I mean, of course I would because it's my Instagram. But I have been doing, especially because I've been doing more themed vlogs like Shelf It or Scrap It, where I'm not including as much lifestyle stuff because that video is just so long with all of the like genuine book stuff in there. I've been making reels from time to time. They tend to be more lifestyle stuff, more vlog stuff, like following my progress with the Peloton 100 challenge, which is still going strong, and we're approaching like day 60 or something now. I think I'm doing very well, very proud of myself. And I also do some bookish stuff on there as well, like the unboxing of this gift package from Sourcebooks that I've just done. I am going to run through the books that they sent me here. This is dangerous for Shelf It or Scrap It because in April, which is a busy month for me anyway, I'm now going to have to read 10 books, I think. But it was worth it actually, because some of these books are not ones that I would have bought for myself just because I'm not buying books right now, but some of them are ones that I keep gravitating towards when I'm like in Waterstones. So I'm actually kind of glad that Sourcebooks have sent them to me. But there are a couple in here that I already own, one of which I've already read, so I am going to be like, I don't know, giving those away, donating them or whatever. So I won't be keeping these ones, but they are A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, which I have read and enjoyed, and Hooked by Emily McIntyre, which I have not read yet, but I do own. And then the other 4 that they sent me, the 2 that I'm most excited about actually, is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. I think Laura Nowlin writes YA contemporary, which is why I haven't actually picked up a book from them, but their synopses are so angsty. It reminds me of like Sarah Dessen and also like Colleen Hoover's YA, The Angst of Penelope Douglas, which I am always here for. So I keep gravitating towards them, but I'm like, no, I don't need like a random YA contemporary romance. But now I have one and I'm not mad about it. One that I also would never have bought, but I am interested in, is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I don't buy thrillers really. If I do, I just tend to walk into a charity shop, pick one up secondhand, and I read it, because it's more about the vibe and experience of reading a thriller for me than it is actually the contents of it. And I do have like a backlog of ones that I've got from Book of the Month, some that I've picked up secondhand that I haven't gotten to yet. But Frida McFadden is really hyped right now, and I don't know why. I want to know why. Like, I want to get on that hype train, especially because I do like a little thriller as a palate cleanser, because they're just very gripping for me, because I don't read a ton of them, and the point of them is that you're supposed to be compelled and thrilled, so I do really like thrillers for that. The one that I heard the least about in the box was My Fault by Mercedes Ron. This one is, oh, this is the movie. I saw this on a bus yesterday and I was like, this looks like it's going to be like the next After. I'm even happier that I've got this now that I've just recognized what it was. This one is I'm gonna assume it's like a new adult contemporary romance with the step sibling trope, which I love me a taboo romance, I can't lie. And then we have Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Now, I don't read as much erotica anymore, which is what I would consider what I've read from Katie Robert. I would put it in the category of erotica instead of romance, which just essentially means that it is more smut than it is plot, which is fine if that's the kind of vibe that you're looking for. And there was a time when I was eating that shit up. Like, I read the entire Wicked Villain series by Katie Robert and I loved the first 3 books, and then it kind of tapered off. No, I loved books 1 and 4. I really liked book 3, and then the other 3 I didn't love as much. So I've since strayed away from Katie Robert because I don't read as much romance as I did a couple of years ago. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling though. So if there's any Katie Robert book that I'm going to read and enjoy, it is probably going to be something like this. So yeah, thank you once again to Sourcebooks for sending these my way. I'm actually really excited about a lot of those books, especially because this box was a mystery. I had no idea what was inside it, and I just feel like mystery books are so much better than books that you already know about. That's why I like Shelve It or Scrap It. I love the spontaneity element.
Really awkward because Leslie and Julia are clear her children no matter how strong she appears to be to everyone, and to this controversy once and for all. Faults over the phone. Oh. The DNA, that Margaret had defied their wishes, but she felt she had a duty to inform everyone. Yeah, well, and she didn't necessarily help.
Yeah, I'm making this cookie butter latte thing, everybody. So yeah, you literally just like smear cookie butter around a cup. I was like, oh good, espresso machine, that's it. It was like, buy these all the time. They were freaking worse.
Which one?
Who is
Relatively, that's not one.
Exactly. And Kish. Well, some of those who knew Jeanette back then remember the impression that I had. I'm like, so did you know?
Yeah, like, did you ever talk to her?
Yeah. That's the rumors surrounding the nature of her death.
Wow. Like, I don't know how that happened. So there's no, or you could just look for a murderer. Usually, that's who kills people. I mean, 99.99999, if not 100% of the time.
I am in the end stretch of this book now. I am on page 540, so I've got like 106-ish pages to go, which is great news because the live show is tomorrow at 8 p.m. so I obviously need to be finished before then. I have been reading this quite slowly. It is generally just a little bit of a slow read. It's not that it's like dense or difficult to understand in any way, it just takes a little bit longer to get through, like on a page by page basis. Are you well? Because you're falling down a hole. Give me this leg. Come here, lie down, lie down. There we go. Oh yep, okay, can I have this over here? There we go. Okay, you stay down there.
You say something?
No, I'm talking to Bree. Can we carry on now? I am really enjoying this though, and when I pick it up, I'm definitely engrossed and engaged in it, even though at the point where I'm at right now, it is actually starting to hurt me a little bit. One of the characters in here who does actually have a perspective and also influences two of the other perspectives we're following reminds me a lot of a character from the Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb, which is Kenneth. If you've read the Live Ship Traders, you will know, you will understand the comparison as well. They're both pirate characters to start off with, but Robin Hobb is so good at writing characters that are so easy to despise, and Kenneth is not even the worst of the worst in the Live Ship Traders. He is probably the second worst character that we follow though, and there is a lot of complexity to him, but overall not a great guy. And we are following a character in here that reminds me a lot of Kenneth, and I guess it's because of the pirate connection and the pirate lifestyle. There's a whole lot about like he's called Lycos in this, but there's a whole lot about his perspective that is reminding me so much of all of the things that I hated about Kenneth in Robin Hobb. And not only the fact that I have to read from his perspective, but also I think it's two characters whose perspective he affects. Not having a great time in that regard, and honestly some of the things that I'm reading in here have me raging. There's also like throughout the course of this series, because it is one of those where you spend quite a bit of time with the characters, so you really do become quite attached to them, sometimes without even noticing that it's happening until something bad happens to them. And one of the characters in here is just really going through it at this point, and there's somebody who has a lot of honor and who has a lot of loyalty and who is on the side of good and is like a character that is a protector that is being forced to do terrible things, and having to read that is also not extremely pleasant. And the point of this series is that it is a struggle between the forces of light and dark. So you have the avatar for light, who is going to be the bright star, and then you have the avatar for the dark side, who is the black sun. And I am not sure that we know who especially the black sun is. At this point, I actually have my theories of a couple of contenders for one of these pivotal roles, and the person who we have in line as the bright star, I do believe that they are the bright star, but also like it feels a little bit easy, so I'm confused or maybe a little bit conflicted on that element as well. But essentially, like when we read these series, you have to put the side of good on the back foot, don't you? Like we have to have something to really root for, and our main characters, like the ones that we actually want to win, are the ones who are always going to be the underdogs, are the ones who are going to suffer a lot of losses before they start to achieve any wins. And I feel like at the point where we're at, everything is just going wrong. Like nothing is going quite right for anybody, and it's just a consistent destabilization of the world. In book one, we followed these characters predominantly at peacetime as things are starting to come into play, as things are starting to go wrong, and then this book is essentially a further destabilization of life as anyone's known it. Like they're trying to find sanctuary, and whenever they think that they're somewhere or when they're close to somewhere, it turns out that that is not actually going to be a safe place for them after all, or they find out something so they have to go somewhere else instead. And yeah, it's just because we're approaching the midpoint of this series, I definitely think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and I can feel myself being bothered when it's going badly, which is good because it means that I have a high level investment in the series and the characters when I care what happens to them. But it also doesn't bode well because I don't want bad things to happen to them. I want everyone to be happy and safe and at peace. So I need to read up to, I think, about page 575 to leave me with 75 pages for tomorrow, which I definitely think is manageable. I also really want to watch some TV tonight though, but I do really need to finish my first book for shelf or scrap it. I've just really been slacking on the reading front this week because it's taking me a little bit longer to read this book, which I mean is fine. It's epic fantasy. It's always going to. But I am conscious of the fact that I haven't finished a book for Charlotte or Scrap It yet, and time is of the essence this month. But I am up to date on Love is Blind, so at the point of me recording this, I haven't watched the reunion yet. The reunion for the UK will be available on Monday, so it's not going to be in this vlog, but I have watched all of the weddings and stuff, and I'm disappointed, but I also was never really invested in this season. Like, it was just really mid from the beginning, and any of the relationships that really had any drama in them, like, I didn't root for any of the couples in terms of wanting them to be together. They were all fine. And then in terms of the drama element, the couples that were the most dramatic didn't end up progressing that far into the show anyway. So yeah, I think it's like the second worst season of Love is Blind out of the 8 of them that have been on so far. But I am really excited for the drama at the reunion. And we've also just started Silo, which is very exciting. I did not know until recently that that was adapted from the Hugh Howey series, which I don't know if the series is called Silo, because all I really knew about that is that the first book is called Wool, and it was on my radar. I don't own it, but I was interested in it because it has been compared to Red Rising, and I understand from watching the first episode of the TV show why. And it's honestly, like, I find it difficult to be hooked in a pilot of a show. And when I went to Comic-Con last year, the cast of Silo were actually there, and we caught a little bit of their panel because it was just before the interview with the vampire one, which I'd gone to see. But I hadn't, like, I was vaguely aware of it. I didn't know it was adapted from a book, and I hadn't really heard anyone talking about it. So I thought it was just like one of those mid-level shows that fly under the radar. And I've heard a little bit of buzz about season 2. So we have reactivated our Apple TV subscription to watch Severance, which we are going to be starting after we've watched season 1 of Silo. We've already seen season 1 of Severance. We're gonna watch season 2, but we don't want any cliffhangers apart from the one obviously that's going to be at the end of the last episode of season 2, assumedly. But yeah, we're waiting until all of the episodes are out so we can watch them all back to back. And in the meantime, we started Silo, and I am hooked already. I've watched 1 episode. Normally we watch like 1 episode of TV a day while we eat, but I said to Curtis, I was like, do you maybe want to go do the dishes and then we can watch another one? So I'm gonna try and get some reading done. I also could do with doing the meal plan for next week. That would be really helpful. And I need to finish booking stuff for China because that is really creeping up on me, and I do not know what I'm doing for the 3 days that I'm in Hong Kong. I feel like the last 9 days of this vlog have passed so quickly, but today is the day that we are going to be having the live show for Valor Catch Up Book Club, which I finished earlier today, and I cried a little bit at the end, guys. It got me in the feels. I gave this one 5 stars. It feels more like a 4.5, like it doesn't feel like a full 5. I feel like the more I read in this world, the more attached I'm becoming to the characters, and the more attached I am to the characters, the more impactful the story is, and the more I'm kind of enjoying it or being immersed in it. But I cannot deny that I was very compelled reading this book. Like, I was constantly thinking about it, wanting to get back into it. I feel like while the pacing is still quite slow, it's definitely a bit more dynamic than Malice was. Part of that is just because we are more familiar with the story, we're more familiar with the characters. I feel like the one thing that's holding me back actually from this truly being a 5-star series for me is that I just don't feel like we have enough plot twists. Like, when things happen, they're dynamic, they're punchy, they're emotionally impactful, but they're also, at this point at least, pretty predictable, and I'm not really shocked at where any of the character arcs are going. The only thing that's really shocking me at this point, I guess, is which characters specifically are the ones that are dying throughout the course of this, because that's just, it could be anyone at any time, you know, like you just never know in this series. We had the resolution, or not the resolution actually, we had a bit of a change of pace in one of these story arcs that I was really disliking in this, which I appreciated. And overall I feel like we grew a lot closer to our main characters. We really, not established, because we started to establish a found family bond in the first book, but we really solidified that bond. And we also had some elements that are a little bit parallel to Red Rising that I really enjoyed. I will give a content warning for this because, like the first book, there are a lot of animal deaths in here. It is nothing that I would call cruel or gratuitous, but it is more the typical kind of death and injury that you will see in like fantasy and historical things. So we have things like dogs that are used for hunting that are also used for hunting people, and we have horses that fall in battle and that kind of thing consistently throughout here. And this book also introduced an element of sexual assault, which is not depicted on page but is very much like alluded to, like there is no mistake that it happened. It's just the actual acts and not described on page. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I'm excited to discuss it with everybody tonight because I do feel like I always get an extra added appreciation of the book after the discussion. I definitely did with Malice. Like the live discussion of Malice really enhanced my experience of the book, and it also helps me to solidify some of the details and really cement what has happened in the book in my mind. I'm really excited to pick up Ruin as well. I feel like I have an entire life to live until then though, because I'll only be reading it at the beginning of May. But saying that, I felt the same way in January, and now I've read Valor. So time moves quick, guys. Let's not squander it. In that vein, I guess, it's time to wrap up this vlog. I will not squander any more of your time. And the only thing that I have going on for the rest of the day is I'm going to make dinner. I'm hopefully going to watch an episode of Silo, which, oh my god, we watched like 3 episodes last night. I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. I'm going to end up binging that. I can't tonight, sadly, because I have the live show, but I'm hoping for at least 1 or 2 episodes. And then of course I do have the live show of Catch Up Book Club, and then I'll be off to bed. So there's no point us hanging around. The next vlog that you guys are going to see on my channel should be, fingers crossed, Shelve It or Scrap It episode 14. I haven't had a whole look filming that video during this video, which is what I was supposed to be doing, but I'm pretty confident that it is still going to be arriving in your subscription feed on time if all goes to plan. If it doesn't go to plan, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble for April. And of course, a big thank you to Louisa for sponsoring this one, and don't forget that you can head into my description box, click on the link right at the top, and pick up something sparkly for yourself. But I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this vlog if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go and nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it.